went live.
Go ahead. Bye-bye.
That's crazy. I love you, baby.
Love you too, baby. Bye-bye.
Hold on. Wow. That's crazy. After I tell everybody to go to Two Black. Wow. Man.
People gonna watch you right there.
Yeah, I
They ain't
know.
gonna go no. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and go live.
No, I'm live now.
Okay, I'm hanging up.
Okay, baby. I love you.
Okay, love you too, baby.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Just gonna wait till a few more people come on here. Yeah, I had a lot of issues that I want to talk about. So if you went to my Two Black page, that's fine. Go ahead and add that because I've been trying to go live since about 6:30. And I said, let me try it one more time just before I go over to my Two Black page. But anyway, click notification on my Facebook page, Two Black, just so you'll know when the next time that I'll be live. Okay, there are several issues I had to deal with, and it's so frustrating. How you doing? It's so frustrating trying to deal with them and everything. So I got to jump around because I'm so late going on. I know a lot of people have already, kind of shut down for the night. But anyway, first thing I want to do, I want to give some congrats to Amy and everybody who fought for Jason DeFranco. He was actually granted release where he walked out from Terminal Island today. And so I want to give a big shout out to Amy and her staff, Malik, Anrica. Oh y'all, congratulations, Anrica. We're hoping that we're still going to be working for Dave in the weeks to come. Also, I'll be launching my YouTube page. I've been telling everybody about that, so I'll be posting that so you can follow. Also, I want to congratulate Amy on bringing Jackie Rubin home. He has served a long time in prison, and it's just been it's good, man, when people come home, man. You see the topic of my title. It's COVID-19 in the prison. Man, these people are lying about what's going on from prison. I'm gonna do a lot of reading from stuff that people. How you doing, Vicky? From what people been sending me. So from all over the bureau, so it's a lot of things that are going on all over the bureau that the bureau staff is not reporting, man. The website is lying about the number of cases that they have. Man, they're lying about the number of deaths that they have. They're lying about the conditions of everybody the people with underlying conditions. Yet they're still letting these high profile cases out. All these people that, they're not. What about the little man? So one of the first person I want to talk about is Shannon Brandon. She's at FCI Alderson, and Alderson is a federal prison camp for women. On an average, a unit is about 59 cubes, just like it is in the men's cube. But anyway, what it is, if you go on the BOP website, it claims that at Alderson, the temperatures are being checked every day. Man, the women there are saying that they're not even doing any temperature check. I'm sure. So that means that the numbers are going to be down at FPC Alderson if they're not doing the temperature checks, because you have nobody to test or to test positive, right? So they're saying that all these people who are supposed to be getting released, they got all these people who are waiting for compassionate release due to COVID-19. Man, they're not even processing the paperwork. You know what I mean? They're handpicking these high-profile cases, and then they're just picking the ones that they want to let out. You know what I mean? Ray Nagin and all those people. If you're not politically connected or you don't have an ace in the hole like Kim Kardashian or anything, then your paperwork is getting skipped over, man. And fam is lying about the people that they're trying to help. You know what I mean? And so you got the whole entire population, man, that they're saying the prisons are understaffed. The guards are making them wear masks, but then they're not wearing the mask themselves. They're walking around, and then they put in the Phase 5 memorandum where there's supposed to be a guard. Like in most Lowe's, at night after 10 o'clock, you have a guard on one side. You got two units. You got an A side and a B side. It's about 300 some inmates. So they're making it mandatory that you have a guard because so many people are sick that you have a guard on both sides. They're not implementing that. That came down from Washington as a Phase 5 memorandum. You can look it up. You can Google it and everything. You can see. So they're supposed to have somebody there at all times with a group of inmates. They're supposed to have somebody walking around checking in case inmates are getting sick. So you got over 170,000 federal inmates, and only 2,700 out of 170,000 have been tested around the BOP. Man, without mass testing, man, you're going to get false results. So people are just, so if I only test 2,500 or 2,700 out of 170,000, man, I got over 14,000 that still need to be tested. So how am I'm getting a false positive analysis when the information is put to the public? So once you go to the bureau and you're saying, well, okay, we don't have any cases in West Virginia, only 3% of the population in West Virginia has been tested. So what about the other 97? So man, do the math. That's the thing that I want to say. So another thing that I want to talk about is the inconsistent communication about how staff and inmates are infected at any given time and the risk. The employees at the federal facilities are sounding the alarm that they lack of manpower too, because they're giving so many staff extra time off. So they're already understaffed, so that means that they're undermanned and they can't implement their Phase 5 initiative, they said, just so because there's so many people sick. Now what they've been doing also, they've been diagnosing 80% of the people who are going to medical as flu, as to not scare the public into saying that these inmates have COVID-19. So what you do is when you look on the site, what's up, brother? When you look on the site, look how many people now, look at the rise of the flu. So all the people that's been going to medical that's been sick at all the institutions, they're telling them that they have the flu. You know what I mean? So that's what they're telling staff, just so they can see, so that they can say that these people don't have COVID-19. And the one thing about when the Attorney General said the directives under the CARE Act, you got unit manager staff who came through the unit multiple times for about a week, instructing people about calling their families and everything. But then this is only an LPC auditor now. I'm gonna get to another spot where they cut their time down to 20 minutes a week. So they let them out for 10-minute phone calls. They turn the phone calls on and let people get in line. They got the phone set. They can set the phone so how many times a person can use it. They get one 10-minute phone call twice a week. That's 20 minutes, man. They're not letting these people call their families. So I feel for the women at LPC Alderson. So this is Shanna Brandon at LPC Alderman. So another place I want to talk about, man, is let's see here where I got. So I'm running a little late. Also, every family member, every family, and every inmate, every family has the right to know whether their loved one has been tested or whether he tests positive or whether he tests negative. And if he has an underlying condition, definitely he needs to be tested, and the family needs to know whether he's been tested or not. You got people who've been calling on the family's behalf, but the family members, you guys got to call on your own, man. You got to create a network to where you call and check on your people at whatever institution that they're at, and don't stop until you get an answer, even if you got to go to the region and start calling. What's up, Jane? So when you get to the region and you start calling, you got to make sure that you get some kind of answer, and you got to back that up with a checks and balances. Don't take the first person word, because now what they're doing at the institution is that they're making the phone calls. They transfer you to an operator, and it might ring 50 times, and they're not going to pick up. Then you're going to have to hang up and call, and they might have to do that 3 or 4 times. So they're trying to discourage the family about calling and checking on the loved one. So I advise you, if you know somebody in prison, if you're good friends with them, if they're your loved one, please call and check on them. And when those people don't answer the phone, then record the phone call. Then you call the region and let them listen to it. Hey, this is when I call at whatever time, because you got a time log on your phone. Let the regional director know that, hey, I've been calling this institution, they're not answering the phone. And they're going to call out there and they're going to call the warden and have the warden to have the front desk start answering the phone. But in all fairness, the Attorney General is putting pressure on them, but the wardens are, like I told you before, the wardens are still playing judge, jury, and executioner, and not wanting these people to go. Why? Because that's money from his institution. Even though we have a surplus of people waiting to come in, they can't just bring them in. They can't just bring them in to the prison, without them being quarantined. We had an incident at Beaumont Low, to where you had some guys who had been quarantined for 13 days. They took an inmate out. He was supposed to go home. One of the inmates, he had been in there 14 days already, and he left. But because they didn't have his paperwork right, and he didn't have an ID card, you know you can't fly without an ID card. They didn't put him on Con Air. They took him to the airport. They wouldn't let him get on the plane, so they brought him back to the same unit after he had been out into the public. So what that did was all the people who had been on quarantine for 13 days, they recycled them and started their quarantine over. You know what I mean? So now they have to be on quarantine 27 days before they can move. And some of these guys have been waiting to go home as early as this week. Now they can't go home because they brought this same guy that was supposed to go home after quarantine, brought him back into the unit. So this is just some of the things these are the tricks that the wardens are playing. They had no business bringing that guy after he had been into the public. They could have put him in the SHU. And I'm sure everybody heard about the lady who died in custody after she got an incident report because they were feeding the squirrels. Her and some more inmates were feeding the squirrel. Her name is Tiffany Cofield. So she died in the SHU, in the shower. The guards locked her in the shower because she had been complaining, and she was already approved to go home on compassionate relief. She ended up catching COVID-19 in the SHU and died in the SHU in the shower. So this is just some of the tricks, man, that our loved ones are going through, and this is just some of the things that the BOP is not telling you, man. Another person that I want to really talk about is my good friend Chad Marks, man. I've been knowing Chad Marks a long time. He's at FMC Lexington. Hey, Jay. What's up, Jay? How you doing, man? I got to get with you. Another person I want to talk about is Chad Marks. He's at FMC Lexington. Chad's been doing legal work, man, for at least 15 years in the system. And what he's been doing, he's been helping other guys get home. He's been filing compassionate release on their behalf and their appeal. But you got guys screaming, man. They have so many people. Let's see what Chad said. He said, just so people would know, a person died here yesterday. Sad, that others in the unit next door were yelling from the windows that they need help. They have over 10 cases in their unit, and they cannot use the phone, computers, or email. They want others to call the families on their behalf. They want people to call the families on their behalf. So no one can help these people. So in 2 weeks, we went from one person on the 27th to over 150 cases. That's because of testing again. And 6 staff and 1 dead. 1 inmate dead, 1 staff dead. You got many more on ventilators. I said this was going to happen to everyone about 40 days ago, and it's happening, and people need to know. You know what I mean? Just want people to know that we need help. This is from Chad. All right, this is through email correspondent. Now, the main person that I want to talk about in this whole situation, man, is let's see, where is his name? You got Robert Michael Evans. Okay, this is the quadriplegic that they transferred from Talladega to Butler. When Butler was full, they put him on the 5th floor. I tell everybody, I hate telling people this, man, but I hate to shy away from the truth. When they send you to Butler, they put you on the 5th floor at Butler 1 or 2. The 5th floor is where they are not going to send medical staff to help these inmates. This is when they take you to the 5th floor. That means that the BOP has said, "Hey, we've given up on you. There's nothing that we could do for you." So you got Robert Evans, man, and you have his people fighting for him, and they're still filing motion, and we haven't heard anything. So I don't know if that, because you had a lot of people that they had denied, they came back in reverse, and they'll start giving these people, but it's mostly women now, they'll start giving them compassionate release. So I don't know if it's from the pressure that all the organizations like Stonewood Crowd, Amy at Cando, and all the other organizations, Buried Alive Project, FAM, and everybody else. So I think it's just a combination of everybody, of all the groups and everybody, Change.org, everybody who are fighting for the people. So we have to keep putting pressure on the BOP and the states in order for us to start giving these people compassionate release. Now, I'm not asking for a mass release of violent offenders, but when you got people who are haven't served but a third of their time, getting out, but they're high profile cases, and they beat people out of billions and billions of dollars, but they got political favor, and they're getting out. What's up, John? They're getting out just like that. But you got people with underlying conditions who have tested positive, and some have recovered, and some still have high blood pressures, diabetes, you know what I mean, and other underlying conditions. And another thing that's been happening during this whole pandemic, that the medical staff is so overworked that they've been giving a lot of people the wrong blood pressure medicine. The same blood pressure medicine that has been recalled, it's been said that they're passing that out. I don't want to say what institution, but it's like, let's see, can I just say, I don't really want to say what institution, because a lot of guys who have filed a class action lawsuit, you can go and look up class action lawsuit in the federal prison, and you can kind of see, you know what I mean? So, and the biggest guy I want to talk about today, who needs the most help, is Eric Bradley. He's at FCI Jessup. Mr. Bradley is 52, and he has numerous serious medical conditions and issues such as sickle cell anemia, high blood pressure, chronic kidney disease, high cholesterol, and he has AFib atrial fibrillation. So he was diagnosed in 2012 with AFib, but he has not been treated for 6 years for his heart condition. He's been hospitalized twice for strokes in the last 3 or 4 months, and he was only given medication for high blood pressure. One in particular was called Metropolone. He was recently hospitalized on April 9th, and he was in ICU for several days. The treating doctor was shocked that Mr. Bradley was not treated for his AFib, and that the prescribed high blood pressure medicine was the cause of his AFib. He was told that he needs to have open heart surgery, but that because of the COVID-19 that he couldn't get the open heart surgery. He needs an attorney, and he will be willing to assist him in filing a lawsuit and helping him with his immediate release. He fears that the prison staff would intercept any phone calls, would stonewall and retaliate against him. So he fears that he would not make it out of prison alive. So there's been a lot of people who have called saying that they're afraid that the BOP will retaliate against them. And so this is a tactic that I know all too well, man. Like I tell people, I spent 15 months in the SHU because I stood up to staff under investigation. You know what I mean? And so because I was the type of person that would stand up for other people who couldn't speak for themselves inside, and so this is the same thing that I've tried to do since I've been home. Speak for the people who either are afraid to speak up or who aren't able to speak up for themselves. And that's my incarcerated, people. So one of the things I want to encourage people, man, is to try to help these people in any way that you can, man. Like share our story, share Amy's story, join the fight. You got Marsha King, man. You got Demita White. You got Cassio Batiste. There's so many other, man. You got Amy at Cando. You got Anrica, who's fighting for her husband. You got Sandy, who's fighting for Trey. You got Chantel, who's fighting for her husband, who just got denied. And he's been sick and been in the hospital like so many times in the last few months, but they keep telling him it's either it's allergy or it's a cold or it's a flu. Man, they're not testing these people, man. They got military-grade tents outside at Yazoo, at Forest City, and so many other places, man. They're not telling people that they're taking people to Terry Hutt and making that all the people who are not. That's the only place that I know that they're trying to do 100% testing, because they're trying to get all the people who are not infected out and bring all the people from other institutions who are infected, because it's growing so fast that they're going to either, after Terry Hutt, the next one that's close to Terry Hutt is probably going to be Marion, and that's one of the places. So that's what they're going to do. They're going to try to keep everybody into the same region. So whenever they do a 100% testing at an institution, they're either making a move to bring all those people who are not infected out, and then make that an overflow for all the people who have been tested positive to take them there, and where they can get all the ventilators there, And so, like I said, so many places are underreporting about the number of cases, of COVID-19. And like I say, if they're not testing anybody, how can we get a true number of how many people are being tested? I've been trying to do this since 6:30. You know, and a lot of people have been calling and asking me to, when you going to do the story? When are you going to do the story? And finally, when I asked everybody to go over to my business page, which is Two Black Media, uh, all of a sudden now, when I tried the last time, 1 minute before 10, which I was supposed to go at 10 o'clock, this come on. So this is the kind of tactic. I'm not saying there's a conspiracy theory, but I see other people jumping on. I see their lives popping up, and I'm popping up. I checked the internet connection. I made phone calls. I checked the Wi-Fi. So it's not. I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm going to tell the truth regardless. If I have to do a Zoom live and record it, record it on Facebook. But anyway, I'll get you the truth. If I have to do just a voice live, so I'm learning. I just want to learn how to get the message out to anybody. What's up, Orlando? How you doing, brother? So it's just one of the things that we have to do, man. We have to keep spreading the message. We have to keep being safe ourselves. Now, I'm not just, even though I'm advocating tonight for the prison population, I'm still telling the people here, man. Again, I ask you, who put out the memo that all of this was over, that we're free to do everything that we did before the pandemic, or before the lockdown, or before the quarantine, however you want to call it. You know what I mean? People are moving like as if everything is all right. So we have to hold ourselves accountable first. And, we can't force anyone to continue to be safe, but when they're unsafe, it's just a keg of dynamite, man, that's going to affect all of us. And if you think that they're not prepared to bury a bunch of us, you know what I mean? So you can say it's population control, you can say it's whatever. I just think that they don't really care if a certain type or a certain class of people kill themselves in a whole different way, not violently. You know what I mean? So, man, please wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. Wear your mask, wear your mask. And stay your butts at home, man, when you don't have to, when we don't have to go out. Pretty soon there's going to be a shortage of everything. If you're not listening, they're closing a lot of meat factories, yet they're still importing meat from overseas. I know I'm going to look way off base from what I came to talk about, but I'm going to jump back on there. I'm just asking you, my viewers and my listeners, to try to be safe. How you doing, Sam? So make sure that you stay safe in doing what you do. But then again, man, it's up to us. Everybody have to be accountable for themselves and everything. And when everything gets ready to come back to normal, man, we don't have a second wave where everybody is sick, and then you be wondering like, man, what happened? That friend that you knew, that close friend who wasn't sick, all of a sudden now is sick and he's gone. Simply because, you left home too early, man, unsafe. Or you took for granted that everything was back to normal, man. We're still having block parties and celebrations and everything, and we're still not being completely safe, 100% safe. Be as safe as you can, man. Be as safe as you can to protect yourself. You see all the supplies and everything is running low. And everything that we need to keep ourselves safe is running low, and they're in short supply. So again, man, I want you guys to pray for Mr. Eric Bradley. Pray for Chad LaMarche and all the other people who are seeking help. Miss Brandon and everything. And so join the fight, man. Join Amy at Cando or whatever. And if you're on Facebook and you see me share something, I share it because I've dug into it and it's legit. And I know if it comes from Amy, it's legit. Just like I know if it comes from a certain person. If I know if it comes from you or Orlando or Jay or anybody who's in that line of work, then I know it's legit. So when we share something, man, we're not out here just spreading rumors or looking for attention, man. I do this because I want you to know the truth. You know what I mean? And so, again, like you say, Vicky, they're raising the meat prices so high. Gas prices dropping, meat prices are going sky high. Just pay attention to the checks and balances. Pretty soon the gas prices are going to rise up, and they're going to rise up and slowly rise up to where it's going to be back above what it was. The meat is going to be so high, so it's just like a checks and balance. You know what I mean? Hey, Malin, how you doing? Hey, Latara. I see your work down there in Missouri, Latara. Just keep educating the people on everything that's going on. And like I was telling them, we have to ensure that we check on our people, state-wise, federal-wise. Like I deal with a lot of people in the feds. I know I need to do more groundwork here at home in Mississippi, and I'm working on that. So that's one of the things that we have to do, man. We have to educate ourselves on what's going on. Tomorrow, I will be talking about uh, brother Ahmed and Breonna Taylor, those two people. So sometime tomorrow, I get on. I have to wrap my mind around it, man, because it makes me bitter. I know that jumps on, but I want to give you a heads up. Sometime tomorrow, I have that plus meeting at 3:30, so I'll be on that for at least an hour or two. It's just where positive leaders unite, and we're going to be talking about prison reform. How you doing, Malik? So we're going to be talking about prison reform. Anybody that's out here listening, I'll post a link tonight, and you can tune in on Zoom. We're going to have a lot of congressmen. We're going to have a lot of senators on there listening, And so, if you want to, I'm going to post a link tonight. You can tune in and listen to what we're talking about. We're just talking about a mass prison reform, not just in Mississippi, but everywhere. There needs to be prison reform everywhere because there's too many of us. There's too many of us going to prison as African American. So that's one of the things. So 99% of the time, if we're less than 30% of the population. Actually, it's 13. The last time the census count, we were only 13% of the population, but we're 70% of the prison population. So that's one thing. So you just meditate on that and think about that for a minute. We're 13%, according to the last census, of the population, of the United States population, but we're 70% of the prison population. You're saying that Hispanics and whites are not committing crime, or you're just saying we're just so violent, corrupt, or anything. And out of the 70%, 85% of us are locked up. We're locked up for a nonviolent drug offense. What? No other races smoke dope or commit crimes. So you telling me that a sex offender can come and go to prison for 2 years, but you give one of a black man, or African American, or African American man or woman 25 years for a first offense, for a drug offense, sometime a life sentence. I got a friend right now, Marcus Boyd, who's at FCI Bennettsville. He's a first-time nonviolent in college drug offender. Went to prison for his first time and got a life sentence, man. Got a life sentence for ghost dope. Ghost dope. And all these people that I'm talking about and that I advocate for are people who are incarcerated for nonviolent drug offense. Now, during this COVID-19, I think that anybody who has an underlying condition needs to be released. Even if he's a semi-violent offender, you can give him house arrest and just monitor him a little bit. Nobody deserves to die in prison, man. Nobody deserves to die in prison. You know what I mean? It's the losses I suffered from being incarcerated. It's painful enough. I can only imagine to where if a loved one passes in prison, then the effect that it has on a family. You already lost him to the system, and then he ends up losing his life in the system. So that's like a double heartbreak. You know what I mean? And then you got people, or some people in prison, man, don't even have correspondence with their family because they were so low down when they're on the street, their family don't contact them. And maybe they're glad that he's incarcerated. But don't let society or the judicial system trick you into thinking that a person is guilty because they convicted him. So that's our mental process. We have to stop letting the judicial system tricking us into thinking that a person is guilty because they sentenced him to prison. Ghost dope is just what it is. It's like, you see my hands? You see this air? I'm going to close it. There's 9 ounces in here. So the government says. Maurice Clifton had these 9 ounces, and because Tom, Dick, and Harry said he had that 9 ounces, but by word of mouth, they're going to hold me responsible for it because somebody got a 5K1, or this rat dude right here, sitting in jail, and he looking for a way home, and I'm the cheese. So he wants to come and take a bite of me. That's what ghost dope is, when somebody runs and say, yeah, I know him. So they bring people out of jail who don't know. The same way with your cousin, Willie. The same way with Bam. You got all these people from around North Carolina, Stateville, who didn't know him, got a get out of jail. It's like Monopoly with a get out of jail free card. They gave them a get out of jail free card Like when a big fish is caught, then they get people. It's like a monopoly game. The DA goes around to the jail and get them a get out of jail free uh, monopoly money with your name on it. Huh? Here's his transcript. This is where he lived. This is what he did. Then you tell on him, and we're gonna let you out. Now, him taking this money, this monopoly money, to say I had some ghost dope, only frees him for a minute. But the one thing about it, it permanently puts him in the trap. So now he's in a cage because he's always going to be that puppet on a string that they can call and use. And when he decides that he can't do it, then what they're going to do, they're going to use the same tactic. They're going to get somebody else some ghost dope. I know some dudes that got out on 5K1 that has a life sentence right now. You know what I mean? Right in Houston, right in Killeen, right here in Mississippi. You know, some same dudes that have gotten out with this monopoly money, telling people that they had ghost dope, and it's not even, it's non-existent. It's what they call conspiracy. It's where I can say where two people can talk on the phone. You heard the old saying that the federal government can indict a ham sandwich. Man, that's true. You know what I'm saying? They can they can indict a ham sandwich. You see what I'm saying? So that's the whole thing, man. People are talking about it ain't that bad, Mike. What's up, little Mike? How you doing, brother? You all right? You should be home in a minute, huh? And so here's the whole thing, man. We got to educate ourselves on what's going on around us. So I'm getting ready to wrap this up, man. It's been good chopping it up with you guys, man. I really appreciate you stopping by, but make sure that you fly over to 2 Black, follow my page to make sure the next time that they try to stop me so I can get on at a reasonable time and get off at a reasonable time, because I got things that I got to do, but I have to drop the knowledge on you. Not the soap, Mike, but I have to drop the knowledge on you just so you guys can stay informed, man. Again, man, let's pray for all people who are sick in prison. Mike, I just heard your Unicorn unit has 100 cases of COVID-19. You know what I mean? So, no, they didn't find no drugs and no money, and I got 400 months. You know what I mean? 400 months. This is me right here. Got out 7 years early. No dope, not ghost dope. No dope. But just because some people in jail or around the community said that I once sold dope for them, I sold them dope. Sold dope to them. People that I didn't even know in the jail, they gave me 400 months on uncorroborated testimony. And this is the power that the government has, man. He has the power. It could have been you. It could have been you. You know what I mean? Anybody that's listening right now, it could have been you. You could have been riding in the car with somebody and refused to tell on them, and you could have got 400 months to a life sentence because you keeping it real. I'm not saying be no snitch. I'm not saying, man, but check who you watching with. Check the company that you keep. You know what I mean? But 9 times out of 10, if you're by yourself, you can't get caught up in that whole trap. You understand? So you're only going to be judged by the company you keep. It's been real, man. Let's pray for these people. Let's bring them home on COVID-19. Any question that you have, man, drop them to me, man, on Facebook Live so I can answer them in the open. Everything's out in the open. How you doing, man? Tell Pops to call me later. I'm glad that he's home. Let's give a shout out to Mr. Rufus Rochelle again, and Mr. Phyllis Wall, man. These are my friends, and we're trying to make everything. Where we can help a lot of people, whether it's with legal work. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, niece. Man, I'm fighting. I'm working. So it's been a minute. I've been waiting to get on here. I've been sitting right here with my pad and pencil, so everything that I want to bring to you. But like I said, man, y'all pray for me. I'll pray for you. Godspeed. God bless you, man. Get on over to 2 Black and sign up, man. I love you guys. Y'all take care. All right? That YouTube page coming soon now. Don't miss it. Good night. You dropped it, Mike.